Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. It is signing day. UK football gets new players, and KentuckySportsRadios.com's Nick Roush is here. Nick, thank you very much. Let's quickly just say, hey, how was the class?
Bigger and better and faster, and that's what you want. Kind of like the 38-1 team, you knew they were big on paper, and then when you saw them up front, you said, wow. That's what it's like with these guys. They're bringing in a lot of big guys that can contribute right away.
They have size and speed, unlike anything they've had. Mark Stoops said he thought it was the best class. The guy that sticks out to me, though, is the name on the top, Lynn Bowden. Maybe the best athlete Kentucky's signed in a decade. Do you agree?
Oh, completely, 100%. Lamar Thomas said, I don't know if it's Bowden or Bowden. I'm just going to call him Mr. Excitement. Vince Merrill said he's the best player in the state of Ohio, and you can't disagree with it. He broke Maurice Claret's rushing records. He was the #1 running back in America, and Bowden was better. He's phenomenal.
And for people who don't know, he plays like Randall Cobb, but more athletic. He can catch, he can throw, he can run. They said, Mark Stoops said on my radio show, he's going to get the ball and play in the Wildcat this year. He expects him to come right in and play.
He can play a variety of positions, but the one we know he'll play is Wildcat to complement Benny Snell, and he's good enough to where they can throw out of it. Going to give
this
defenses
tape right
confusion.
here, I don't know that I've ever seen a player have a better set of footage on film than this kid has right here.
Oh, he can have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys around him. He can bust 3 and score a touchdown.
Really amazing. Now, another one is Josh Paschal. He's a defensive end. It's not an exaggeration to say the defensive line was UK's worst part of the team this year. This is a dude, Notre Dame wanted him, Penn State wanted him, Michigan State. He's coming to Kentucky.
He can play a lot of different positions, and today Coach Stoops was comparing him to Bud Dupree. He'll play with his hand down in the ground, bust right in the backfield, sack the quarterback, or they're going to try to work with him an outside linebacker to drop back into pass coverage. He's a guy that can play on the field right away.
He reminds me of the early high school tapes you would see of Clowney in terms of the way he can get off and just crush people.
Oh, the offensive lineman can barely touch him. It's really unbelievable to see what he can do on tape. You only need 30 seconds in your soul.
Look at that. Poor running back right there.
Poor guy.
That does not look like it's going to be very good for him. He is another guy Stoops said he thinks could play right away, and I bet these high school quarterbacks are going to be glad what he's done. Another guy, Jordan Wright. Tell us a little bit about him. It's a player that Vince Merrill said may be one of the best in the class.
He's another player like Paschal. They play that outside rush position, and they're very versatile in this class. They can do a lot of things. They're great athletes. There's a lot of good basketball players. Wright's a great athlete, a 1,000-point scorer, and people were a little worried at the end he might go to Miami, but they hung on. He was the last guy to sign on the dotted line, and he has another chance to contribute right away.
For bottom line for people who are watching this, Kentucky beat out a lot of top-level schools. They end up with the 25th ranked recruiting class, a top 25 class, the second highest in school history. Stoops thinks it's the best one. How would you rank it?
I agree with him because from the top to the bottom, they're good. They've got great talent up top, and then the project guys, those guys are really good too. Those guys can be starters down the road. You're talking about Chris Whitaker on the defensive line, Abule, Abade, Fitzgerald. It's a mouthful, but he's an unheard of guy who only played football last year, has a lot of upside.
Nick Roush from KentuckySportsRadio.com. If you go to KentuckySportsRadio.com, it's a website a lot of people don't know about. But if you go there, you get all the writings about all these players' descriptions. You should check them out. Nick Roush, thank you very much. Way to go. You're not too bad on television. I mean, you're not great, but you're doing well enough. We'll take a break and be right back. Russell Wilson's getting political going into the Super Bowl, and Coach Cal shared a piece of history with Chief Justice John Roberts. We'll talk about it next on Hey Kentucky.